Thompson's still down. Yep, the shoulder lead.
Hello, guys. Welcome back to TFD. Steph Curry gave the Warriors an unexpected scare late in tonight's matchup against the Houston Rockets. After a tough drive to the rim, he observed heavy contact from Amen Thompson and immediately began limping, eventually heading back to the locker room. In this breakdown, we're going to look at what likely happened, what the early diagnosis means, and whether Golden State fans should be worried moving forward. Right after the initial bump, the cameras captured Curry noticeably favoring his left leg. Watching the broadcast live, you could see something wasn't right. He was wincing, hobbling, and clearly uncomfortable. What stood out on first viewing was that nothing about his plant step or knee alignment looked dramatically off. There was no obvious inward collapse, no awkward twist, nothing that screamed ligament damage. Yet, after hitting the floor, Curry's limp became unmistakable, and the Warriors' medical staff quickly began checking on him. What really grabbed attention was where Curry placed his hands. While being evaluated on the bench, he was pointing toward the front of his left knee, not the upper thigh region. And that's what makes the official post-game update interesting. Steve Kerr said the team was relieved to hear it was just a thigh contusion and not a knee injury. But visually, Curry wasn't rubbing his thigh. He was indicating discomfort around the knee area, specifically near the quadriceps tendon or patella. To understand this better, you have to look a few plays earlier. Curry was already showing signs of discomfort before the collision with Thompson. The broadcast didn't highlight it at the time, but if you rewind to the 4:36 mark in the fourth quarter, you'll see where things actually begin. Curry comes around an Alperen Sengun screen and takes a pretty firm knee-to-thigh shot. As he rolls off the contact, he comes up hobbling on that same left leg. It's subtle, but the limp is there, and it grows worse over the next few possessions. This earlier collision makes the thigh contusion diagnosis much more believable. Sengun's knee drives directly into Curry's thigh, a classic mechanism for a deep muscle bruise or even a mild bone bruise. That kind of impact can cause immediate swelling and tightness. So by the time Curry tried to slide over and draw a charge on Thompson, his quad was already compromised. That second moment, when the muscle is forced to contract hard while already injured, easily could have amplified the pain. Now, even though this is a more reassuring scenario than a tendon strain or structural knee issue, thigh contusions aren't something to brush off. Mild ones heal quickly, sometimes within a couple of days, but more severe contusions can cause significant bleeding within the muscle, leading to stiffness and prolonged weakness. In rare cases, players even require the area to be compressed or drained to prevent complications. So where does that leave Curry? If this truly is a low-grade contusion, he could be back as soon as the next game. If imaging shows deeper muscle disruption, the Warriors may need to sit him for a week or two. At this point, everything comes down to swelling, strength testing, and what the MRI reveals.
What do you think changes the most for the group if he has to miss a little bit of the stretch?
If Steph has to miss?
Yeah, if he has to miss a little bit of the stretch.
Well, it obviously changes everything. Our rotations, how we're playing, who we're playing through. So we'll see. I'm actually, when I heard it was quad, I was actually kind of relieved. Better than an ankle or a knee. So hopefully he can recover quickly and be okay. But we got to hold down the fort.
Now let's talk about today's game. Man, that felt like a little Thanksgiving appetizer gift from the Rockets on Thanksgiving Eve, at least for about a quarter and a half. The Warriors came out blazing. What was it? 4 or 5 makes from deep right out the gates, just firing with confidence, the ball popping, the energy high. Jimmy Butler steps into 2 dare me threes like, okay, if you're leaving me, I'll take them. I flipped the game on around that point and boom, Warriors up something like 21-11 or 20-11 midway through that first quarter. The pace was good, the defensive rotation sharp, the crowd engaged. And then the momentum started to shift. Middle of that second quarter, Kerr goes back to that 4-guard lineup again, and that's when the cracks start showing. GP2 rolls the ankle, immediately heads back to the locker room, and suddenly the rotations become a patchwork job. That means extended minutes for Pat Spencer in the second half. And look, Pat plays hard, he scraps, he hustles, but let's be honest, that's not a guy you want in heavy rotation minutes against the #1 offense in the entire league. And yeah, let's set the stage properly. No Kevin Durant, no Steven Adams, no Tari Eason, no Al Horford, no Kuminga, of course. Both teams depleted, bodies missing on both sides. But this is what Houston does. Outside of the KD ISO stuff, their identity is clear. They turn you over, they run right down your throat in transition, and they crash the offensive glass like if their life depends on it. Clint Capella being back only makes that worse. The size, the athleticism, you could see it wearing the Warriors down as the game progressed, especially after that hot shooting start faded. And then there's Reed Sheppard. Early on this season, when he stepped in for Fred VanVleet, it looked rough, like rookie getting cooked rough. He looked like an undersized gunner, not a lead guard. But tonight, he ran that offense, in part because of Şengün's handoff game, in part because the Warriors just let him get comfortable. Career high, I think 31, whatever the number was, it felt like every bucket came right when the Warriors tried to push back. If we're sending 2 defenders at Reed Sheppard, respectfully, that's a big problem. A big, big problem. Draymond actually did a solid job on Şengün. He dared him to take that nail jumper, sagging way off, playing the percentages, and it worked, mostly. Amen Thompson was chaotic but inefficient. But Reed, he got rolling early. You could see the elevation on those jumpers, the confidence in the mid-range pull-ups, the clean threes off screens. He became the focal point of the whole Houston attack. And by the time the Warriors adjusted, it was too late. Started that fourth quarter, Reed just took over. Suddenly Houston's up. Warriors are turning the ball over. Draymond and Steph combining for 11 turnovers. Tells you all you need to know. Too many loose balls, too many 50-50 plays going the Rockets' way. The effort was there, no issue with that. But the athleticism gap was glaring. The size gap was glaring. And honestly, man, the talent gap among the role players was impossible to ignore. Let's keep it real. The role players just aren't good enough right now. Jimmy's been good, Draymond's been good, Steph is still Steph, but after that, it gets dark quickly. Buddy Hield, 15 minutes and a bunch of defensive breakdowns that led to wide open threes. Pods had 14, and yeah, he got that floater going, but his overall floor game was rough. He was credited with 2 turnovers, but realistically, if you count the fouls and broken plays, he was involved in more. Moses Moody dissed the start, plays 30 minutes and finishes 2 for 8. Rebounds are fine, but the scoring punch wasn't there. Guy Santos, 6 minutes, not much impact. Quentin Post was serviceable, but far from a difference maker. The only real bright spot among the others was Will Richard. 18 points, steady energy, confident offense. And now with GP2 out again, he's going to have to play. A lot. Forget the rookie pecking order stuff. He's earned those minutes. He's clearly the most consistent role guy right now, and the Warriors need consistency desperately. And here's the thing, when your entire supporting cast is this young, home court advantage becomes way more important than in past Warrior eras. You need the crowd to cover up the inconsistency that youth brings. And tonight felt like one we should have had, regardless of injuries on both sides. These early season wins matter. Houston was missing big pieces too, so no, this wasn't some schedule loss or circumstance loss. The Warriors were up comfortably early, and it just slipped. Then the Steph injury happened. And without Steph, it got ugly fast. Turnovers, no clean offense, missed open shots. Down the stretch, I wrote in my notes, needed it, needed it, needed it. 3 or 4 open threes from role players, all misses. On home, against a short-handed opponent, with momentum on the table. That's how you lose winnable games. And man, it feels a little like last year again. Kuminga not being out there made a difference. Your athletic swingman who thrives in games like this, not available. Could he have swung this game? Easily. But Houston was missing guys too, so it's not an excuse. Because Buddy, Pods, and Moses, those 3 spots in the rotation, they need upgrading if the Warriors want to be a playoff team that actually matters. It's not personal. I like these guys. Mo is a great teammate. Pods has potential. Buddy earned playoff equity last year, but this season, they've struggled. And now with GP2's hurt, Pat Spencer is not a rotation player. He's a situational irritant for end-of-quarter hounding, not a 15-minute guy. Guy Santos, cannot get a whistle. Every game, it's a foul magnet situation. I swear he needs to cut his hair. It's like the ref see the hair fly and blow the whistle. But bottom line, I really thought the Warriors might steal this one. And instead, it exposed the harsh truth. Healthy Warriors or not, they just aren't in Houston's league right now. And that's what Houston missing KD
Eason, Adams, guys who always give the Warriors trouble. If you want actual positives, the big three still look like the big three, but they're going to need different pieces around them. That's the reality. About Steph's injury, yeah, the hip contusion seems likely. No weird twist, no buckle, no snap, just a hard fall on the right hip. But at his age, a contusion can mean a week or two, maybe more. And with 20 games played already, the clock is ticking. You can feel the organization watching closely, deciding whether this roster experiment is salvageable or if they pivot quickly when players become eligible for trade after January 15th. It isn't hopeless, not yet, but it sure looks grim. I'll go through the tape tomorrow. I actually want to see the breakdowns because it might be as simple as size and athleticism overwhelming the Warriors. But this was a high-effort game, intense, competitive, fun, until it wasn't. Next up in New Orleans. They look better tonight. Derek Queen, Jeremy Fears, some young sparks. They were up on Memphis all night before collapsing OT. Not exactly world beaters, but competitive. And if Steph doesn't play Friday, and honestly, I don't expect him to, who steps up? We don't have that answer right now. The only bright news, the Anthony Melton is scrimming. Sounds like he's almost ready. Probably minutes restriction at first, but he can absolutely take minutes from Buddy, Pods, and Moses immediately. I don't expect Steph back for at least a week, probably longer. We're entering that stretch where trade talks become very real. The good news, the Warriors actually have assets, and the league looks ready to move. Something's going to give, but this one stings. Houston is becoming a mini rivalry, and you've got to win these home games. You can't go cold from three for an entire half. You can't rely only on Steph for shot creation. You can't cough up turnovers like they did. Anyway, tough night. If you were out there on a wet Wednesday or Wawa Wednesday, that's what happened. Happy Thanksgiving, y'all. Stay safe. We move.
Wait. One thing I forget. Here Jimmy Butler said on the 10-10 Warriors, we don't box out. We don't go with the scouting report. We let anybody do whatever they want. Open shots, get into the paint, free throws. It's just sad.
What would change the most? I think we're going to have to be damn near perfect. We ain't going to have the ultimate bailout on our team, but even when he is on the floor, we're going to have to do our job because we make the game real difficult. As great as a basketball player as he is, he has a really hard job every single day. If he's got to be like the Batman of all Batmans and save us every night, like that ain't what he's here to do.
When you say you're making the game hard on yourselves right now?
Yeah.
I guess what do you mean by that?
We don't box out. We don't go with the scout report. We let anybody do whatever they want. Open shots, get into the paint, free throws. It's just sad.
Is that from the word, from the beginning of the game, or does something happen that brings out those patterns during the course of play?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't care either. I just think we need to do what we're supposed to be out there doing as players. Like, I don't care what Steve say. It's not on him, and it's not on the coaches. Y'all can't see, but it's back there somewhere. They write everything up there for us to do, and they put us in the position to do stuff. We go over it the day before, the day of. We got to go out there and execute, man. So don't listen to Steve when he say this is on me and he got to be better. Nah, it's on these guys around this locker room.
Jimmy, how do you guys clean up some of the turnovers? And some of those come with playing high tempo, of course, but how do you sort of, Monday was a good night with taking care of the ball. Is there an answer?
Just make the first available easy pass. I think that's like basketball 1-on-1 is what I call it. That's what you learned in the 4th grade or whenever everybody started hooping. We just got to care more. But that's not the only problem. That may be one of them. But we just got to compete, especially at home. You got to box out, you got to guard, rotate. All of these things that we say we're going to do that we do sometimes, but most of the time we don't.
Surprising to you, given how many veterans are in this locker room?
No, it's not surprising because I think that a lot of our hustle and a lot of our everything is dictated upon offense. When we're making shots, oh man, we're celebrating, we're cheering, we're doing all of those things. When we're not, when the game's not going our way, we put our head down and we mope, and then we don't box out, we don't get back, we foul, we do all the bad things. But when it's going good, some people call it front running, but when it's going good, All smiles.
All right, y'all. That's all from me. Drop your thoughts below, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and have a wonderful Thanksgiving.